So today we're going to start with words that end with ED. Have that ED at the end, okay? So if I have the word mix, this is my base word. Say base word.
Base word.
Base word. And then I added an ending. What ending did I add?
ED.
ED. And what does adding an ED mean, Carter?
That it was in the past.
It was something that we did in the past. So I have my base word, which is mix, and then I did it in the past, so I mixed.
Mixed.
What do you notice, though, when I say I mixed? What's that ending sound, Silas?
ED.
Say mixed.
Mixed. ST.
Mixed. It's just a T sound. Sometimes our endings can say T. Sometimes they can say D. And sometimes they can say ed. Okay? So we're going to probably come across some of these ED words in our reading today. Okay? During our reading today, there might be some words that you're not really sure what they are or what they mean. So today's reading is Chester's cake. Okay, there might be some challenges in Chester's cake. Do you know what bathrobe is? Like, what's a bathrobe?
Bathrobe.
Okay, so in this book, Chester's cake, this is Chester, and if you open to the title page, we have the two characters here. We have Chester and we have Rose, okay? Chester is trying to make a cake, however, he's missing all the ingredients and he's missing all of his bowls, his measuring spoons. He had to borrow a lot of items from Rose. He ends up borrowing all these things that he needs to make this cake, and as he's walking out the door, it says that the pot clanged. And what do you notice about the word clanged?
It has ED.
It has ED at the end. So what's the root word?
Clang.
Clang, that's right, clang. So you're going to come to this word, and now we'll know when the pan clanged to the floor, we know that it kind of fell to the floor and it kind of made a big sound as well. So we see that Rose gave Chester all the things that he needed. Go ahead and turn the page. And Chester ends up saying, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to make a cake. Can you show me? This is the first time I've ever made a cake. So Rose starts making the cake. She makes the cake, they frost it, and if you turn, go ahead and turn the page. What do you notice that Chester puts on the cake? Candles. So Rose looked like she might cry at one point because Chester said, no, I'm not done. She's like, oh my gosh, what do you mean you're not done? I just gave you everything you needed. I just made the cake for you. I just frosted it for you. What else could this cake need? And Chester said, oh, it needs a candle. Okay, so go ahead and close the book. Why do you think Chester needs a candle? Carter?
It's maybe someone's birthday.
It might be somebody's birthday, and I'm wondering whose birthday it might be. So today, while you're reading Silas, when you get to a tricky word, you need to look for a part you know and get your mouth ready and say that part. So here's an example of a word that you might come across, Silas, in your reading. This is a very long word. Okay, Silas, go ahead and look at the word. Okay,
Important.
What did you say?
Important.
Important. That's a long word. Show me the first part that you found. Important. How many parts does that have that you saw? It has 3. Did you say each letter sound? No, you found part. So you said important. Okay, so you might come across a word like that that's long. I want you to look for a part that you know and get your mouth ready and say that part. When you read today, you're going to make your voice change when you see the marks on the page. And also, while you're reading, I want you to think about Rose as a character, and how would you describe Rose? Okay, go ahead to the beginning of the book and start reading Silas.
Chester was baking a cake. He opened the cup door.
What did we call that thing? Some people call it a cabinet, but we called it a...
Cup.
I said it looked like cupboard, but it's called a cupboard. Go ahead and start reading quietly to yourself.
To get out the flour and sugar, but the cupboard was empty. He opened the refrigerator.
All right, go ahead and read out loud for me.
Rose came to the door in her bathrobe and slippers.
When you get to a tricky word, you need to look for a part you know and get your mouth ready.
Before I'm taking now, said Chester.
Okay, so go back. I want you to try again right there. Something didn't sound
I'm thinking now, said Chester.
good. Yeah, you said, I'm taking now, said Chester. Does that make sense at all?
No.
So if something doesn't make sense, what do you have to do?
Look.
No.
Go back to the beginning of the sentence.
Go back.
And read it.
Yes, go back to the beginning of the sentence and reread it. So what ended up happening at the end of the story, Carter?
Rose made a cake and Rose was super frustrated and
Why was Rose
tired
frustrated and tired,
because
Silas?
he said
Hold on, Silas. Can you tell us why?
because
Why was Rose so frustrated and tired with Chester?
probably she didn't sleep that much.
Well, I want you to think about the story. Think about the very beginning. Who's trying to make the cake in the first place? Whose idea was this? Whose idea? It was Chester's. So what ended up happening in the story, Carter?
Chester wanted her to make a cake for him, but they frosted it and did all so much things. Then
Who made the cake?
Rose,
Mhm.
and they did all these things. Then
Who's they?
Chester and Rose.
Was Chester helping Rose at any time?
No.
No, so it wasn't they, it was just Rose. I really liked how you were changing your voice, Carter, when you were reading, and I really liked how you were persevering to get through the word. I noticed when you guys were reading this word at the very, very beginning, go to page number 2 and find that really long word that starts with the letter R, Carter, and sit on your bottom, please. Sit on your bottom. On page 2, where's that really, really long word that starts with the letter R? Find it on page 2. Yep. What is that word?
Refrigerator.
You said refrigerator. You said refrigerator. Both of you had said refrigerator. I noticed when you came to this word, you said refrigerator. What does refrigerator start with? FR. What does this word start with? It doesn't start with an FR. Yeah, it starts with an RE. Say re.
Refrigerator.
Yeah, refrigerator.